Husker fans, Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra. Here we are on April Fool's Day, and it's no joke. Nebraska had its first spring camp scrimmage today inside Memorial Stadium. About 85 plays for the Huskers. Coach Matt Rhule said there were 40 with the first team and 40 with the second team today. So that's just sort of the and by first and second team we're talking about offensive lines. I think they were kind of mixing and matching a lot of guys, but they don't have a ton of offensive linemen in camp. They probably only have about 10 or 11 in camp, so they've kind of had to rotate those. Ben Scott was not in practice today. He's likely to be the starting center for Nebraska, but he got his ankle rolled up on Thursday, and so he'll be out for about a week. Okay, so the quarterbacks were live today. They took the green jerseys off, and guess what? That was advantage quarterbacks. That's right. The offense was able to move the ball quite a bit because once you make those quarterbacks live and you can't whistle dead a play when you touch them, they run. They ran for some big yardage, according to Matt Rhule. He was the one that watched it. We weren't able to see scrimmage. But yeah, they ran the ball with the quarterbacks today. And anytime you start putting that quarterback run element into an offensive game plan, it gets interesting and it gets dangerous pretty darn quickly, and that's exactly what occurred today. Well, they also had the coaches clinic this weekend. Nebraska pretty pleased with the turnout. They said they got 400, some from Texas, one from Albany, New York, a couple from the Dakotas, mostly Nebraska guys who listened to the Husker assistants, and of course last night Coach Tom Osborne in the keynote speech. Matt Rhule said it was absolute gold. That was his comment for the way that Osborne produced his PowerPoint and chatted about things. Well, we go into week 3, and I think what you're going to start to see a little bit is some guys taper off a little, guys that might be in that starting group. They might taper off a little bit, maybe take a day or two off. You just never know. As you go into week 3, it gets tougher and tougher. You're going to want to see what the younger players can do. They got a lot of quarterbacks to cycle through, right? Casey Thompson's still banged up, but they're running 4, and that's not easy to do. You got to figure out who your top guys are going to be, plus Thompson if he's able to come back. So I think you'll see it'll be kind of a rugged week. There'll probably be some bumps and bruises after the scrimmage. They're going to have to work through all those things. We will be back on Tuesday to talk more about Husker football camp and what they have going on. I think we'll hear from some coaches, some assistants on Tuesday, and a couple of players as well. Okay, that is all of our coverage. Stay tuned to the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra for all of the Nebraska spring camp coverage. And also on Sunday, a good story from Evan Bland on Carter Nelson. Thanks, Husker fans.